nation has a certain way, a certain belief system, a certain behavior, and a certain value or things that they deem important. And it can be different from continent to continent and from nation to nation. In other words, their cultures are different. It doesn't necessarily mean that the way they believe or the way they behave or their values are always wrong. It's just different maybe from another group's culture. For instance, in the African American culture, one of the things that is important is that you got to be cool. Come on. Yeah. Young folk, you ain't cool. You can be dumb, but as long as you cool. You can flunk out of school, but as long as you cool. You gotta talk cool, walk cool, be cool. You can't be a nerd in some cultures. You gotta be cool. That's just a part of the culture. They call it swag. You got swag, the way you walk. They talk about the president that he walks with swag. He's the coolest president. This president we have now, he walks a little bit cooler than George Bush. Now that's no reflecting on what he's doing or what he's believing, but some folks, all they want to know is he cool? He can be for gay marriage, but is he cool? He can be for abortion, but is he cool?
Amen. Come on now. Oh.
That's a value. That's a culture. The way you dress, the way you talk, the way you think, your attitudes, your culture. That is something that people value. They hold on to that. And so even in religion, there are different cultures. Every denomination has a culture. The way they do things. There is the Baptist culture. There is the Methodist culture. There is the Pentecostal culture. There is the Catholic culture. It's just the way they do things, their attitudes, their behaviors, their belief system, their ways. It's different from denomination to denomination. Lutherans, Methodists, Baptists, Episcopal, Pentecostal, Church of God, whatever it is, they have a certain culture. And your culture depends on the way you have been taught. What you learned growing up. What your parents taught you. What your friends taught you. What individuals you were associated with. What they taught you. Either by actually teaching you or showing it to you. And so you really never get beyond what people have been taught. You are what you've been taught. Whatever you've been taught, whether it's right or wrong, your culture reflects what you've been taught. And so incorrect teaching is one of the worst things that can happen to an individual or a group of people. Because if you've been taught incorrectly, then your behavior and what you believe is going to be incorrect.
Yes.
And even though we talk a lot about apostles and prophets, the reason I selected this verse tonight was because notice that Paul spent a year and 6 months teaching in a particular region. Evidently because this region was in need of a significant amount of teaching.
Amen.